How's it going, everybody? So, here's an interesting thing, and this sort of works together with a couple of things I've been talking about lately. However, I assure you, I'll do my utmost to make sure it stands on its own. The Bible and other sort of texts have a extremely high potential of being misused to manipulate others. And oh my gosh, anybody who is raised Catholic or who lives in a strict Bible-believing household will probably be able to testify to that on a stack of those Bibles. But if I may, I would like to focus in on some particular passages. Specifically the middle of the book of Romans, where it talks about the authorities granted to the king and things of that nature. If you're reading a book that's not necessarily a book to you, how do you know what it's about? How do you know who it's to? You know, who's the intended audience? In the case of the modern Bible, specifically the New Testament and the book of Romans, it was a letter to the Romans. Now, let's ask ourselves something here real quick. Who are the Romans? Am I the Romans? Are you the Romans? Are we Romans? Well, I'm looking around, man. I ain't in Italy. I can tell because I'm having to go back to work and it's 2 o'clock and them fellers in Italy, I heard tell they only work till 2. Because I'm in America. Anyhoozle. What I'm saying is, when these texts are abused, 9 times out of 10, if not every single time, the articles of abuse are taken out of context. Just like any sort of legal document. The only person who truly knows what the premise or the point of a document is in fact the author. And it tends to take the author the span of the document to prove their point and to prove their premise. So it is not fair to take a section out of it. In the case of the Romans, that book was written to early Christians that were about ready to go through something extremely difficult. And it was very critical for the early Christians, which oddly enough, I don't think at that time they were called Christians yet. They might have been just started to be called that. But it was very critical that they did not take up arms and fight back. It was in a way critical that they were martyred in such a fashion, and it carried the message. So, take it in context. If you want to look up something historical about it, relating to the book of Romans, check out Nero and his actions against the people of the Christian faith. So hopefully that I don't know, brings a point of view to some questions that some people may have. If not, and this sort of thing wasn't really for you, that's fine too. The end times wouldn't exactly be the end times if it weren't for the Christians having hard hearts and caring just a little bit less than they used to.